Becky Lynch is your new WWE Women's World Champion, and in this video we're going to break down why she won the Battle Royale last night and the real reason she is the replacement for Rhea Ripley. Also, last night we seen Ludwig Kaiser turn on Giovani Vinci and the downfall of Imperium from orders by Gunther. But in this video, we're going to discuss some wild theories of what's next for former Imperium member Giovani Vinci. So you're not going to want to miss this episode of Wrestle Digest because we're going to break all this down for you. But before we get into it, we just want to say that 89% of you guys watching these videos aren't subscribed to the channel. So if you're looking for a home, maybe third, second, fourth home for wrestling content here on YouTube, we're going to be here every day breaking down everything that's going on around the wrestling world. So you're going to want to stay tuned for that. But with that said, let's get right into the first topic of the video today, which is the real reason Becky is Women's World Champion. And yes, last night, and if you missed Raw, we seen a Battle Royale to determine the new Women's World Champion since Rhea Ripley vacated her title last week. And at the end of the match, we seen a trio face-off between Nia Jax, Liv Morgan, and Becky Lynch. But we seen Becky Lynch hit the manhandle slam on Liv Morgan on the apron, which then led to Becky becoming the new Women's World Champion. And before we break down the reason, I thought there was a cool moment, and that was when Becky went into the crowd, celebrating with the crowd, kind of to end Raw. And this picture of her with the "Women Run the WWE" sign should go down in history books. I mean, this is just an amazing photo. I thought I had to share that with you guys. But let's get right into it here. And obviously, it's unfortunate that Rhea Ripley got injured and had to vacate her world title. Nobody wanted to see that happen, myself included. But there has to be a new champion while she is away. And I don't think there's a better person than, Becky Lynch. And I'm going to kind of discuss the real reason behind why she won this. And the first reason is, you got the roster on Raw right now. Obviously, with the draft coming up, it could make things interesting and could lead, Becky to feud with someone who was formerly on SmackDown, which I'm a really big fan of. But when you look at the people who are in this Battle Royale, you have, Nia Jax. Nia Jax lost to Rhea Ripley and at an Elimination Chamber in Perth, and, she was up there to be world champion as well. I just think personally Nia Jax's gimmick right now isn't the best. The crowd isn't reacting the best to it. I think maybe a little rework of her character could put her right up into that race again. But at this point in time, I don't think that we see Nia Jax as champion in recent time. I don't think that's the issue here, but everybody was expecting, Liv Morgan to win this because Liv Morgan, obviously, she was the one who sent Rhea Ripley out, laid up with the injury. And I think that's the reason she didn't win this. Obviously, you're not going to reward somebody by injuring probably the best women's wrestler in the entire division this day. So it only makes sense for them not to, say, gift this to Liv Morgan after, obviously, it was an accidental injury. But you don't want to reward Liv Morgan with the title, her second world title, by injuring, the former dominant women's champion in Rhea Ripley. So it makes sense to me in this sense to why Becky Lynch won it. She's the one on the roster that makes the most sense. This would be, I think, her 7th time as women's champion. So that's great as well. And obviously Becky Lynch is, a crowd favorite. The fans love Becky, and she always has a good pop whenever she comes out to the ring. So it makes sense for her to be a placeholder for this championship for the time being. And there is a second reason here, and that is her contract. Becky Lynch's contract, I believe, is up in just under 2 months, so it makes sense for them to give her this championship, give her another run to maybe try to entice her to re-sign with the WWE. That makes sense too. I think, that's probably the reason behind this. Like I said, the talent on the women's roster right now isn't the best. I think with the return of Alexa Bliss, which is pretty imminent, I think could really shake up this women's division a lot. You also have some talent down in NXT who may be drafted to Raw, talent on SmackDown who could be drafted to Raw, and really reshape this women's division right now. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think for the time being, having Becky Lynch as champion is going to be great because we all know the man is a great champion. She's great. I think she's great on the mic. A lot of people have mixed opinions on that, but I think she's a great wrestler. She gives great promos. She's obviously great in ring, and I think having her as champion right now is great. And like I said, it only makes sense with her contract coming up. Try to entice her to resign by giving her the championship again, showing, her that, you are still a top women's competitor in this division, and you don't need to take the fall every time you go out for a title match. So I think that was a great play by the content creators over at WWE, or the content officer Paul Levesque here. I think that was great, and like I said, I've seen a lot of people saying Liv Morgan probably should have won this, but I think the reason behind that is because she injured Rhea Ripley, yet it is accidental. I don't think that they want to reward her for injuring the champion at that time. I think it would only, send motions high within, the WWE locker room through the women's division. But I do think that we will see a Becky and Liv feud here develop over the next little while, which I'm really excited for. But I want to hear from you guys down below in the comment section. What do you think? Do you think Becky was the right one to win this title? Because in my opinion, I think she was. Or who else do you think deserved this title over Becky? Let me know down in the comment section. Love to hear your opinions on it. But we're going to get into the second topic of the video today, which is what's next for Giovani Vinci. And yes, last night, of course, we did see Ludwig, Kaiser, and Imperium turn on Giovani Vinci. He sent, after their loss to the New Day, he kind of gave him a hug and then took him and flicked him into the ring apron, the LED apron, and then we see him set him up on the steel steps after bouncing him off the announce table, where he drop kicked him in the head, and then we see him go to the back where Gunther gives him the nod of approval, saying, this was obviously his doing. He sent Kaiser after Vinci because he didn't want him in Imperium anymore. So that leads me to this. What is next for Giovani Vinci? Obviously, Giovani Vinci has been a, solid main roster tag team wrestler for a while now, and I think maybe they're trying to make him a solo competitor. Maybe he gets drafted back to NXT. I think that's what's going to happen here. I think Giovani Vinci gets drafted to NXT. He builds himself up as a solo competitor, because I think we've only seen him as tag team champions during his time in WWE. Correct me if I'm wrong down below in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you down there, but it makes sense for him to kind of go on his own here and try to build up a solo career for himself. Obviously, Imperium have been, struggling, I guess you could say. Gunther losing his championship. Vinci and Kaiser have lost a few matches, obviously lost again last night. So it makes sense for them to, kick out Vinci here, and maybe he goes back to NXT. And what is on NXT right now? And this is my wild theory. This is the first thing that came to my mind when I seen this turn last night, and that is the D'Angelo family. And as we all know, Giovani Vinci is Italian. So could we see Giovani Vinci drafted to NXT to join the D'Angelo family? I would really love to see this, because if you watch this for a while, you know how big of a fan I am of Tony D'Angelo and the D'Angelo family. I just love the Sopranos Mob Boss faction. It's so cool. And I think Giovani Vinci could fit well into this family, and maybe it's their long lost cousin, whatever kind of storyline it leads to make him into the family. I think this could be cool. I think he could really play this role really well as the Italian, as the brute, the muscle for the D'Angelo family. I think this could be really fun, and I think this could be a way for him to activate his solo career, maybe going after the North American Championship, to maybe bring titles to the D'Angelo family. I think this could be a good fit for him as well. But there is another theory that I had in my mind too, and that is maybe he goes to NXT and starts a rival family against the D'Angelo family. Maybe it's the D'Angelo family versus the Vinci family, or something like this. I think that could be a really cool way to reintroduce Giovani Vinci into NXT by having these two mob boss families battle against each other. Who would join Giovani Vinci's family? That's not something I'm certain of, but I think that he could be a great faction leader as a mob boss, which would be really cool to see a mob boss, kind of war at NXT. I think that could be really fun to see, and I'm excited for Giovani Vinci because I think he's a good wrestler. I think getting him back in NXT, which I think is going to happen, and developing his solo career is really what he needs, and I think we will see him back in the main roster at some point, competing for maybe an Intercontinental US Championship, or maybe even a rivalry against Gunther, but I think that he needs to take some time from the main roster to develop a solo character of his own to get back and try to rival Gunther, try to rival Ludwig Kaiser. But there is a third option that happens, and maybe he doesn't get drafted to NXT. Maybe he stays on the main roster. Maybe he rivals with Ludwig Kaiser. Maybe he rivals with Gunther. Obviously, we have so many pay-per-views coming up in Europe. We have Clash of Castle Scotland, obviously Backlash Lyon France. I don't think that match is going to happen with 1 week's notice, but this could be something maybe we see on a pre-show to a pay-per-view card or something like that, or a PLE card. I think this could be a cool rivalry. I don't think that it would get the crowd reaction that everybody wants. There was a big pop last night when Kaiser did turn on Vinci, which I really love because I'm a big Imperium guy. And I think, maybe this could be something that plays out over Raw, and then maybe that leads to him beating Kaiser and then taking on Gunther. I think that could be cool as well. But my favorite theory is going back to NXT to develop a career of his own. I think he's a great wrestler. He has great potential, and his ceiling is so high. He's already been on the main roster, and now, going back to NXT, it isn't a step back. I think it's a great step because he'll be developing his own way, his own path to the WWE, which I'd be really excited for. But I want to hear your guys' takes on this down below in the comment section. What do you think is going to happen next for Giovani Vinci? Do you think that Gunther may turn on Ludwig Kaiser as well, and that would lead to the downfall of Imperium? That might happen as well, but I think Giovani Vinci on NXT would be amazing, and I want to hear your guys' takes on that down below in the comment section. We're going to get everybody's favorite topic of the video, which is comment of the day, and the comment of the day today goes to Darren. Darren says, how are people not subscribing? And Darren, that's what I'm saying, man. But yeah, we've seen a lot of support over this last little while. A lot of people have been subscribed to the channel, which we are very grateful for. But like I said, 89% of you guys aren't subscribing to the channel. So if you find yourself coming back here, if this is your first time on the channel and you love wrestling, you love hearing people discuss what's happening in the world of wrestling, what theories are out there in the world, you found the right place here at Wrestle Digest. So go down below and hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure down below, hit that like button, and also comment down below any of your thoughts on this video, maybe where you're watching from. You might be featured on the next comment of the day. And if you want to check out a video we did yesterday talking about Cody Rhodes going Hollywood, it'll be popping up on your screen right now. But as always, I've been your host, KC. We'll catch you in the next one.